US Special Envoy Richard Grenell believes that Ukraine never had nuclear weapons, and the arsenal it once had always belonged to Russia. Politicians and diplomats have reacted emotionally to these statements, according to the politician's social media page on the platform X. In his post, the diplomat decided to clarify the situation with the Budapest Memorandum. The nukes were Russia's and were leftovers. Ukraine gave the nukes back to Russia. They weren't Ukraine's. This is an uncomfortable fact. Grenell wrote, "This position of Donald Trump's special envoy sparked a resonant reaction on social media X among politicians and diplomats. In particular, former US Ambassador to Ukraine, Steven Pifer, stated that Grenell was categorically wrong. The diplomat who helped negotiate the Budapest Memorandum added that the nuclear warheads in Ukraine were former Soviet, not Russian. Nuclear warheads in Ukraine were ex-Soviet, not Russian. Warheads in storage were in sole Ukrainian custody. ICBMs and bombers were eliminated in Ukraine except a small number sent to Russia for debt relief," the diplomat wrote. He emphasized that Ukraine decided to send the nuclear warheads to Russia for disposal, largely because Moscow had committed to respecting Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and not using force against the country. He advised Grenell to study history in full. Former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger expressed strong criticism of Grenell. "They were Soviet, you ignorant ass helmet," he wrote. "So they were equally Ukraine's as Russia. This is day one knowledge." Kinzinger added that the nuclear weapons were Soviet and were inherited by the countries where they were stationed: Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. However, operational control over the strategic weapons remained with Russia. British politician and former leader of the UK Independence Party, Henry David Bolton, also expressed his outrage. This man, despite his 1.7 million followers, has his facts completely wrong. Either that or he's intentionally deceiving you. Those nukes were absolutely not Russian. They were inherited by Ukraine when the Soviet Union broke up. Don't believe me? Then do your own research, he said. Ukraine inherited the third largest nuclear arsenal in the world after the US and Russia from the Soviet Union. In the early 1990s, the country possessed around 2,000 nuclear weapons, including intercontinental ballistic missiles and strategic bombers for their delivery and launch. On December 5, 1994, Ukraine, the US, the UK, and Russia signed the Budapest Memorandum. Under the agreement, Ukraine voluntarily gave up its nuclear weapons in exchange for security guarantees from the signatories. Specifically, Russia pledged to respect Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, and to refrain from threats of force or its use against the country. Moscow also promised to avoid threats of using nuclear weapons. The US and the UK provided Ukraine with security guarantees, stating their readiness to assist the country in the event of aggression. However, the Budapest Memorandum lacked procedures and mechanisms for responding to violations, which made it an ineffective tool for ensuring Ukraine's security.
Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, known as IRGC, has unveiled a new underground missile base spanning dozens of kilometers of tunnels. The Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces Major General Mohammad Hossein Bagheri and IRGC Aerospace Force Commander Amir Ali Hajizadeh were present in unveiling the missile city. A video released by state media on March 25 shows the two military leaders responsible for the country's weapons programs riding through a long and weapons-packed tunnel. This is one of hundreds of underground missile cities of the IRGC Aerospace Force that houses thousands of precision-guided missiles, Iranian media reported. The 85-second video comes amid rising regional tension and confrontation with the US. Earlier, US President Donald Trump warned of possible military action against Iran if it refuses to negotiate a new nuclear deal. Trump has also threatened Iran with dire consequences if Yemen's Houthi militants continue to attack international shipping lanes.